Map of all the properties. And this is, again, just pulls that same map that we saw in the quick one, and here it shows the map. It also is nice because it shows which number is corresponding to which property address.
Is 0 supposed to be up there?
We added that somehow. I'm not sure how. We've been playing around on it too much. So. The number 0 right here.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be on there? I don't think so. Somehow I added something somewhere. So. All right. Marketing plan. This just, and again, this is just information that is, for our sellers. So here is just a marketing plan. And again, if you use that Remax template that you use for your iPad listing presentation, it has way better stuff on here. But this is better than nothing. This marketing plan of what we're going to do, how we're going to help the seller. Personal profile.
If you have your own, can you upload it?
No, you cannot. No, that's why it's best if you use this and then use it pull it into your presentation. Yeah. Personal profile. I don't know what's in here. Nothing. I don't use this one, so obviously. So anyway, so what you would do is you would go in here and use that pencil and then start typing stuff. You can put your resume, you can put, how fabulous you are, whatever you want. So that's where you put that. Preparing your home. Probably one of those should say, leave when you have a showing, in bold letters. So here's just information that you can give to your sellers. So anyway, so it's really, it's got some really good information in here. I think this price comparison graph is probably one of the better things that it does. This is not the one I liked. Never mind. This is too much, actually. This is the one I don't like. Hold on. Maybe it's this one.
Price history work.
Maybe it's this one, yeah. Or some take longer. Okay, this one actually looks better. It's still too much. I would, if I were doing this slide, I would not do it this way because it's way too much stuff on there. But at least it shows that, and if you really look at it, if you see the original price versus the list price versus the sold, if you really look at that, pretty much everything sold for less than what it listed at.
And almost everything had a price reduction.
So almost everything did, yeah. And so really that's something, because you can see it, versus original list versus list price. So really and truly, this is something, probably one of the better things to show the sellers, saying, you know what, people, yeah, you may list it at this, but just at the history of it, we're probably going to be taking less. So it's a good thing for the sellers to see that. And again, it's too much going on in there, but it's still good. All right. And then we just look at this different, here's property profile. And it's still thinking. There we go. Okay, so here is the information about each of the properties. These are their active. Here's our one pending. And then here are all our solds. Just gives a little bit more information. All right. And then if we look down here, subject property, here's our subject property. Okay, and pretty much we're done. Okay, so we're going to hit finish. And now it's going to think. It's saving the CMA, and then I'll show you what it looks like all put together. So it's still saving. Okay, so it's been saved. Now if we go up here to the top, it says view report. It's going to be thinking again. And then we're going to actually be able to see the entire report just if we were going to print it or if we were going to save it as a PDF and put it somewhere. But this is the exact report that we're going to be seeing. If you had noticed on the one before, it also had print. So that's where you could actually print it also. If you print it, you just need to make sure you print it in color so it makes more sense. Okay, and it takes a little while for this to pull it all together. So what do y'all think?
I think I need to take the CMA course.
I think so, because really the CMA, it breaks it all down. Yeah, and it breaks it all down, and it will go through each option for you. which just takes too long for us.
Okay, now you can put you take a picture of the
Yeah, you
house.
can put the picture of the house in there. Yeah, I didn't. So, all right, so here is the exact report. All right, so remember I said that we could have themes? For some reason, I chose clouds, and so that's what my theme is. See the clouds around there? So that's my theme for the whole report. So here is our first page. Here's our letter to our seller, and it just goes on through. And this is the report that I would be printing out. Now, I think, Rosa, you had said something about you wanted to have the whole MLS sheet in there for the properties, especially the sold properties, or maybe not the sold properties. Maybe you want to have it for the active properties because that's your competition, okay? This is why I think it's better if you save this as a PDF and not just use this, because you can't add anything to this report, okay? This is what it is. You can take some of these out, but you can't add it to it. So, but if you save it as a PDF, what I can do is I can go back up here, and maybe at this point, I want to put the entire MLS sheet in it. So if I have it in my iPad as my listing presentation, when I get to this page, it will have this summary, and the next page will have the MLS sheet, the full sheet with all the pictures.
How do you do that?
You save it as a PDF, and that would be a different class, but you'd save it as a PDF, and then you're going to stick it in there after this sheet.
Now for
And
the
again,
second-
I can tell you later.
Okay, that is gonna give you this because.
Absolutely, yeah.
What I do in practical terms is I either have the MLS sheets
Right.
in my iPad, in iBooks
Mhm,
or something.
mhm.
I either wanna see a particular house, I just pull it up and show them.
Right. I don't print anymore.
Yeah.
You don't want.
I don't print these anymore. And I know you're doing that, but I don't print anymore. What I do is I email them my presentation. And so they're going to get this email. If they want to print it out, they're welcome to print it out, but I'm not printing it.
Email it prior to the listing?
I email it prior. I do, so that they can have it, they can see it. And now whether they look at it or not, that's fine, but I'm going to go through it with them. But then they've got a copy of it. And so at this point, that's what I would do.
I want to say something at this point.
Yes, ma'am.
If you do that, and you send it ahead, and somebody else is going too, and maybe going before you,
Mm-hmm.
you have a chance of maybe losing it. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you will. I'm saying, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to do it eye to eye and say, I'm going to send it to you.
You can do that. Absolutely, you can do that.
But you see what my,
Right, absolutely, yes.
because there's so much competition
Mm-hmm.
out there, and then all they have to do is show that other person all the stuff
Right.
you've done.
But I'm hoping that because I am so tech savvy and that I've done all of this work prior to meeting them, that they are going to think, oh my God, she is fabulous. And then when I go out there, I am fabulous. And so they're going to fall in love with me and use me.
Confident little heifer, aren't you?
I win.
Yes, ma'am. No, but I think that that's, I know. So I think that I think that, yes, you can do it that way. If you don't want to give it to them prior, that's fine too. But sometimes I want to give them something so that they remember me before I ever get there. Now, obviously, if they call me and they say, okay, I'm going to meet you at 3 o'clock, do I have time to do all that? Probably not. I'm not going to send it to them prior. But I may say, we'll go through it and I'll say, you know what, this afternoon you're going to get a copy of everything that we're talked about. So I might do it like that.
So Robin, on an iPad, I know you can do the little finger flick, okay? On a laptop, you just hit page down.
Yeah.
That's really the only difference, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But now I use my iPhone as my clicker for my iPad.
Oh, that's fancy.
So yeah, so
So you're putting the iPad in front of them?
yes,
you're
and then
just
I'm clicking, yes, and I'm clicking to make the pages go through, yes. Okay, so again, so this,
On your iPhone, you're doing that?
yes,
Okay.
Can you do it from an Android to an
I have
iPad?
no idea.
Okay.
No idea, I don't have one, so. Okay, so again, this is all the information, and again, that's why I like to do this as a PDF and then stick it into my listing presentation so I can put more information in there versus just use this. But you can just use this.
No.
Now, if I took the CMA class, they could teach me how I could slip in another PDF?
No.
No, only you know that.
I mean, that's something for like a listing presentation class, or I don't know who does that.
So you're saying insert into the middle of a PDF, but most PDFs are not editable.
Okay, so what you're going to do,
Version of Adobe Acrobat.
and you can do it different ways. Yeah, you can do it that way, or when you get your PDF, you save each page as a slide. And so you're going to actually be working, and if you don't have a Mac, then you're going to work on PowerPoint. And so each page is going to be a slide. And then you put those slides wherever you want. And you can add and take out all kinds of editing that
So
way.
you save this entire report as a PDF,
Mm-hmm.
one document, then you open the document and save each individual
As a slide.
page
Mhm.
as a PowerPoint slide.
Yes, yes.
Interesting.
Because you can manipulate more that way.
Okay,
And
now wait a minute, though.
yes, ma'am.
You have the full pages. How do you save those as slides too?
Each page, each individual page as the slide.
Plus this report?
No, this is what I'm saving. So I would go through, and this is a report. I mean, this is a page, so I would save this, and I would put that on a slide in PowerPoint.
Each one of your CMA things. And then you also put the individual pages in as a slide.
If you want to do that too, yes. That's how you do your listing presentations, yes, on your iPad. Yes. So
Okay, not
you,
to belabor that, but we save it as a PDF.
Mhm.
Do we then open PowerPoint, then open that, use within PowerPoint, open that presentation, and then start saving individual pages?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And so that's the best part of doing the PowerPoint, so that you can add in. So if you want to do the MLS sheets, the full sheets, that's how you can do that. And if you don't want to, then you don't have to.
Or, I don't go through all that trouble of saving it as a slide as PDF, just, I have the
But you-
documents open. And
Yes.
switch back and forth. If they want to see pictures of a house, I go to
Yes,
the other PDF.
Yeah.
I have my listing presentation
Yes.
already formed.
Right.
I just add their numbers.
Yep.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, is that's the beauty of that. Now, I don't use this report at all, this CMA. I don't use this one at all. I use the MLS sheets. I do the quick CMA, and then I use the MLS sheets, and that's what I do. But this is here, and it's still a good one, because it does have all this information in it. And again, this is something that you can save. Here's the map. Here's all the information. Here's all our comps. Here's our marketing plan, and we've already gone through all of this.
So
I would take this one out, because I think this is way
you
too
could
much.
also take all those pages there, take out what you don't want, put in the full space, and do a PDF and send it to yourself.
Yes. Yes, you can.
Instead of worrying about doing this slide and saving this and doing that, and just
Yeah,
do it
that's
all in
too
one.
You can do all of it too. Yes, all of it.
You can do a quick, doing all that of
Mhm.
saving
Yeah.
as a PDF, then copying in a slide, and then combining all the documents in one thing. I think you need to have a listing presentation that is generic, that is all you're gonna do for the seller, and then your CMA in a document specific to this property and this seller, and there you insert, or you have.
I
the
combine
MLS.
them. I combine it. In my listing presentation, it's the generic one for the whole, all the first, 10 slides are the generic, and that's when it goes into my CMA. I put it at the back, I put it at the bottom, and that's where I put my CMA.
Okay.
So,
Now,
yeah.
when you print out those sheets, are you doing a full report, or just with the other agent's name on it, or are you just doing the buyer?
Right, just
or
the buyer.
seller thing?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you do a CMA,
Because I mean,
it only does
my
the
darn, they'll
numbers.
sit there
I-
and go, well, he sold this.
Yeah, no, I don't show that Mike Cedar sold all those houses. No, I don't
That's
show
what I mean.
that.
That's what I'm talking about,
No, I do not.
yeah.
So, anyway, so this is the full CMA. Okay. It also at the very bottom, suggested list price for 7 Lysander, $460,000.
And you came up with that number? Or
No,
was
it did it. It did it. Yeah, it did it.
And did it generate it based upon sold?
Yes,
or
only
on
sold because I
activity?
chose that. Only sold because I chose that.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then here's our active properties. Okay, and it's going to compare. Here's all our active, here's our one pending, and here again are our solds, and it's comparing. Looks like an appraisal, right?
So that's very.
How the appraisal.
deep information from what you have.
So you don't really use this CMA?
Personally, no. I've tweaked enough that I do something different. But it's got some good information in it. And that's it. That's the end of it.
How close is that recommended price to what you would actually list it for?
That's exactly what I have it listed for.
Okay. so
It's
you think that's a good
$460.
number. And you didn't do the adjustments for rooms and lot
I didn't,
sizes?
no, because I don't know, and that's an appraiser's thing.
I mean, that gets too in-depth.
It does, and I,
You can't get that close.
Oh, I agree. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, I'm trying to figure out how it came up with that price. Was it
it's
based?
based on the comps,
On the average.
on the sold and the average price of the sold properties. That's all I
Price
did.
per square foot or
Mm-mm,
just
right.
per property?
Price
Per square foot.
Okay.
multiplied
For that
by your
property.
square footage.
Yes.
Per
Yes.
unit, what the price is per square foot.
So it took all those factors, threw them out, square foot, sold, here's your recommended price.
Yeah.
Versus for our property that's 3556 square feet.
Because
That's it, yes.
That's what the appraiser does.
And, yeah, exactly.
So what you have to do is like, I go through the pictures of all the sold ones that are comparable to mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, before I go to the house, of course, I haven't seen the condition of the house.
Right.
Okay, so if the house compares, I have a suggested low-end price and a suggested
A
high-end.
range.
A range.
You have the
And
low,
depending on
medium,
what I
and
Sorry.
see, because if the house is trash and needs a lot of work and they're not willing to do it, then it's gonna go to the lower side.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, if the house has been renovated and it's amazing, I might go to the
Updated
highest.
everything.
And that's what my CMA, that's what I do. I have a range. Instead of it specifically being a number, I have a range. And that range may be 450 to 475. I don't know, and that may be my range because that doesn't pin me down.
That's right.
Because when I go out there and it is gorgeous, pristine condition, gorgeous, you could eat off the floors, fantastic, we're going to go to that high range. And I think a range is better than having this be specific to a number.
I agree.
So,
Because
But that's what this is.
It leaves you room.
yes, it
not to
leaves
look
me
like an
wiggle
idiot.
room. Exactly. Because if I say 460 and I get out there and I'm like, ooh, 460 is way too high, then there's like, well, wait a minute, you said 460 on here. I've got it in writing, you said 460. That doesn't help me. So I like a range. So, and that's not what
Do you put a
this is.
range in there
My CMA has a range.
from MLS or from one that you made?
I make it. Yeah. My CMA that I do is a range. Yeah. So questions?
Yes. When I took that CMA class, they went a lot into depth, and I'm just
Right.
wondering, how important is it? They said that read the notes on there, on each property,
Mm-hmm.
and it has notes like seller's contribution or repair cost. Do you include that, or you just leave that property out?
It depends. Okay, it depends, and that's the thing is that's why it's you need to take that CMA class because they go into much more depth than we ever would have time to do. But you need to read each one, and that's why it's very important. I mean, I would rather see the house prior to doing this. It doesn't always work out that way, but I would rather just so that I know which ones to take out. Because, like my 7 Lysander needs carpet and paint. Okay, they cannot put the carpet and paint in there. So I need to look at comps that are more comparable to that. I wouldn't want to use something that had, hardwood floors, custom paint, all that, because that's not a good comp. And so I would like to see that. That's why a range is better to use because it doesn't tie you down to one number. But you definitely need to read that because, if it says in there that, they gave a $25,000 designer allowance, then that's going to really affect that price.
Then you take the $25,000
Off the
sales
price, yes.
So that-
Yeah. So you really need to because that's not a true comp. That's not a true price. Yeah.
And you can also explain to them when they get a contract, you may have repairs that you're gonna have to do. That's gonna be another negotiating with the contract. And people don't know and they don't explain it to the seller.
Right.
You negotiate a contract twice.
Right.
Not once.
But twice.
First time, all the important things like the closing date, the amount down.
The
and
price.
All that stuff.
Right.
The second time, you are only negotiating the repairs.
Right.
And a lot of people make the mistake of not telling their clients it's gonna be negotiated twice.
And I tell them, you are going to negotiate twice.
You've got
You
to tell
are
them.
going to have repairs, no matter what, whether you do those repairs or you don't do those repairs and give an allowance or take it off the price, whatever you're doing. But there are going to be repairs, flat out.
And I'm gonna tell you something else, when you type a contract, and you have corrections, don't mark it out and have them initial it. Retype that page. One of your clients can miss an initial, and that other one can come in and say, we're out of the contract.
Yeah.
Well, you can't be. Well, yeah, you didn't
Yeah,
initial this.
exactly.
You've got to type the cheat sheets over. If you don't, you're gonna be in trouble.
Absolutely, always, yeah. Yes.
I'm anal when it comes to the contract.
That's the
Very
voice of
good.
experience.
Yes, it is.
What?
Voice of experience.
But I'll put it to you another way. Sandra and I have been in this business 20-something years. I've been very, very lucky.
Yeah.
See, my mother's house is for sale, and that's exactly what they did. When they counter offered, they X'd out what they didn't want and had her initial it. And I thought, that doesn't
All
look
right,
right.
now-
The other thing
Pro-
I was
All right,
told,
now let
there's
me
a
tell you
lot of
something.
blanks in there, and they're supposed to
If
be.
the other
Yes.
agent you're working with does that, you tell her that you want a new sheet, and you want that typed in. You do not want any markouts.
Okay, and the
then
reason-
you will have your people
And one of the big
identify.
reasons that we say that is because you think about who you're giving this contract to. There are other people that get a copy of this contract versus just the seller and the buyer. You know, we've got the title company that gets a copy of it. We get the appraiser, the lender, and they have to be able to read it. They have to be able to flip through and go, immediately they know this is the price, versus looking through and going, what was this? And if it's marked through, and where's our price? So we want a clean, pretty version. No matter what. And even if we go back and forth and mark it up and everything, at the end, there needs to be a clean, pretty version of it. And that's the one that everybody signs. Because too many people see it.
We hardly ever have anything kicked back to us, because they've given us a list for years, and whatever's on that list is what I turn in. And I've never had anyone doubt Sandra and I, ever. But whatever the office tells you that you need to turn in, it's to protect you, not just the office, but you.
Okay.
Is that it?
Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you.
You done did good, honey.
Thank you.